The rising epidemic of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NEFLD, is one of the most ominous and underreported consequences of our modern diet, and at its center lies the frequent consumption of ultra-processed foods. Once a condition rarely seen outside of heavy alcohol users, fatty liver disease has now become shockingly common, even in children, as our eating patterns shift toward industrially manufactured meals loaded with high-fructose syrups, refined carbohydrates, and synthetic fats. Unlike alcoholic liver damage, NEFLD often progresses silently, without obvious symptoms, until the liver is already inflamed, scarred, or irreversibly damaged. This makes the condition especially dangerous. It operates quietly but destructively, and ultra-processed foods are fueling its advance. At the heart of this issue is fructose, particularly in its concentrated, industrial form found in high-fructose corn syrup. This sweetener is prevalent in sodas, sports drinks, flavored yogurts, ketchup, baked goods, and virtually all low-cost sweetened processed products. When consumed in excess, fructose is metabolized almost exclusively in the liver, where it is rapidly converted into fat. Over time, this leads to an abnormal accumulation of fat within liver cells, a defining feature of NEFLD. Unlike glucose, which is used by virtually every cell in the body, fructose places a uniquely high metabolic burden on the liver, essentially turning it into a fat production factory. But the problem doesn't stop at sugar. Many ultra-processed foods also include trans fats and excessive omega-6 fatty acids from industrial seed oils. These fats not only contribute directly to liver fat accumulation, but also promote systemic inflammation and insulin resistance, two key drivers in the progression of fatty liver disease to more serious forms, such as non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, NASH. In NASH, liver inflammation becomes severe, cellular damage increases, and fibrosis, scarring, begins to take hold. Left unchecked, this scarring can progress to cirrhosis, liver failure, or even liver cancer, all without a single drop of alcohol involved. NAFLD is no longer a disease of aging or sedentary adults. Alarming rates are now being documented in teenagers and even children, some as young as 8 years old, driven primarily by diets rich in sweetened beverages, processed snacks, fast food, and sugary cereals. These children are not just a little overweight, they are at risk for lifelong liver damage and reduced life expectancy before they even reach adulthood. And because liver disease typically develops without pain or obvious warning signs, it is frequently overlooked until it has reached a dangerous stage. Another concerning factor is the role of insulin resistance, which is both a cause and a consequence of fatty liver. Ultra-processed foods spike insulin levels repeatedly, impairing the body's ability to regulate blood sugar and fat metabolism. As insulin resistance increases, fat becomes trapped in the liver rather than being burned for energy. This also makes weight loss more difficult, setting off a destructive metabolic loop. The more ultra-processed foods one eats, the more insulin-resistant the body becomes, and the more fat is deposited in the liver. Beyond the physical damage, NEFLD also contributes to fatigue, brain fog, abdominal discomfort, and increased cardiovascular risk. Because the liver plays a critical role in detoxification, hormone balance, and nutrient metabolism, a compromised liver means the entire body suffers, even if the effects are hard to trace directly. It's a systemic issue that manifests as chronic underperformance, low energy, and declining health over time. And yet it's rarely addressed at the root. What makes this disease particularly tragic is how preventable it is. A diet based on whole, unprocessed foods, rich in fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats, can not only halt but often reverse early-stage fatty liver disease. But instead of being encouraged toward these protective dietary habits, many people continue to consume liver-damaging foods daily, unaware of the ticking time bomb within. The deceptive marketing of ultra-processed products as low-fat, gluten-free, or natural often masks the fact that they are metabolic poisons to the liver, loaded with hidden sugars and synthetic fats that serve only corporate profits, not public health. And while pharmaceutical companies now race to develop a cure for fatty liver disease, the primary solution remains simple but politically inconvenient: stop normalizing diets dominated by ultra-processed foods. No pill can undo the cumulative damage of years of poor nutrition. No surgery can fully restore the natural metabolic harmony destroyed by synthetic, calorie-dense, and fiber-poor ingredients. In the end, the crisis of liver health reflects a larger crisis of food culture and industry manipulation. NAFLD is not just a disease, it's a symptom of how far modern eating habits have strayed from biological sanity. Unless we confront the role of ultra-processed foods in fueling this silent epidemic, we will continue to sacrifice liver function, quality of life, and ultimately, human longevity, just for the sake of convenience and profit.